Season 52, war number 11, and we're up against PBT. This time my team will be Luke Cage, Omega Sentinel, and Odin. I will be taking Path 1 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, a Storm Pyramid X, Northstar, Man-Thing, as well as a Mangog mini-boss, and that will be it for this war. I do have Luke Cage on the team, but I am not taking the Enchantress boss this time around. Previously it didn't end up going according to plan, so we're gonna be using a better option for that. Starting off here we have a Thing on the personal space regeneration node, and I'm gonna be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. Of course, starting with the heal block pre-fight, so I don't have to worry about changing the modes with my heavy attacks throughout the fight. I can just go in with a double medium to inflict the heal block, and then just keep that up for the rest of the fight. All that I really gotta do at this point is just make sure the heal block stays up, and then manage the rock stacks properly, bait specials when Thing has at least 15 rock stacks, and then just beat that over and over, and as long as I can do it right, Thing here will not go unstoppable, and he will not be able to regenerate either. Now for damage I am building up to my special 3, I could go for some special 2s for the incinerates as well, but those result in recoil damage, and it would mean I need to do some more double mediums to get more debuffs. So special 3 is overall just the easier way to go about it. Now with the incinerates up, as well as the opponent heal blocked, it's only a matter of time until they drop. I just gotta wait out the protection, and down he goes. Thing on this node has been quite a common placement throughout the seasons, and there are many champions who can deal with it just fine. More so for diversity these days than anything else. And then, next up we have a Havok on the Masochism Overtime node, and I will be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel, starting with the heal block pre-fight. And this fight is a bit scary. First off, the only way for me to deal with the defense tactic here, realistically, is to first do a double medium to trigger the Masochism node, then while the defender is unblockable, I need to get an opening by either baiting a heavy attack or landing an intercept, do another medium ending combo for a heal block, and now with that up I gotta keep it up for the rest of the fight by finishing my combos with light attacks. Also on top of that, I naturally have to manage Havok's power bar here properly. If he gets to a special 3, I'm more than likely dead, because it hits like a truck. And then also I need to make sure I keep my armor buffs on throughout the fight, so the plasma detonation will not be a problem. Now, normally I would go for the special 3 for the plasma debuffs for damage. However, due to Havok being already a somewhat of a scary matchup for Omega Sentinel in general, instead of triggering the Masochism node before my special 3, I simply just throw it here while he had close to no power at all, and then allow the Masochism node to just eat the plasma. Now the reason why I did that instead of trying to inflict the plasma and use that for damage is because while the plasma is active, if I happen to get clipped at any point consuming my armor ups for the auto block, I no longer have any protection against the plasma detonation, and while the plasma is up, those plasma build up debuffs will keep stacking very quickly. So that's a very simple ticket to die in, and I did not want to deal with it. So I opted for the slower but safer play. Then, next up here we have a Wiccan on the Never Back Down node, and I'm gonna be using Luke Cage for this one. Now Wiccan on some of these nodes has been a very threatening defender this season due to the tactic and the horrible attacker pool, but on this node he does basically nothing, and Luke Cage can just nuke the fight down. Already heading 26k medium crits, and the fight has just started. I barely even get to my special 2, and he's essentially already dead. I just drop it, he's at 2%, special 2, way overkill. Now Luke Cage just hits very hard, and I do have the recoil masteries on as well. Didn't think it would be necessary to switch them off for that fight, and clearly it wouldn't have been. Then we have a Negasonic here to deal with using Omega Sentinel on the buffet over time and Arc Overload nodes, and once again starting the fight with a heal block pre-fight so I can deal with the defense tactic very easily. As usual, get the heal block up and then switch to lightning combos to pause the debuff, and after that just manage the opponent's kit, I guess, as well as the nodes if necessary. And that's about all there is to it. However, I mismanaged the evade charge that Negasonic has. It came back just at the wrong time, and of course the very first hit I landed, when it had come back, I rolled the evade on it, which is very unlucky, but I do gotta keep an eye on it better. I know that is always a possibility while the evade icon thing is up, so it's still on me, even if the actual roll on the evade was unlucky. With that said though, Negasonic doesn't hit too hard, so I was able to finish the fight out without dying, but it did get a bit scary there. Had she had a special 2 or something ready when that happened, things might have ended a bit differently. Now next up, we have a fight that I have taken a few times already this season, a Storm Pyramid X on the Power Snack and 1 too many hits mini-boss node, and I will be using Omega Sentinel as usual. And the reason for that is, simply put, her Nullify immunity makes the Power Snack node non-existent here unless you're using the Odin pre-fights, which will get eaten at the start of the fight for some reason. Game plan is to just get the double medium in for the heal block up early, and then once again just pause it, and that's about it. Just constantly bait special 1s from Storm, that's all you really gotta do. Build up power. Special 3 is the easy way to go for the plasma debuffs, but you can go for special 2s as well. If you're running recoil though, like I am, the special 3 is usually the better way to go. It also requires less management with your personal non-damaging debuffs. However, I decided to go for the special 2s anyways. It speeds things up a little bit, you don't have to sit out the special 3 animation, and the damage also from the special itself is decent, if it crits at least. I did manage to finish out the fight in less than a minute. Most of the damage I took was the recoil from the special 2, which was fine. I was gonna be using a potion after the fight anyways, so taking the recoil there didn't really cost me anything after all. Then we have a bit of an interesting fight. I gotta take a Northstar on the Mega Stand and One Eye Open mini-boss node. And I have only fought this guy once this season on a different node that didn't really do anything. But here he gets a bit scary. And one of the reasons, or the main reasons he's scary here, is the inevitable power efficiency node as well. What that does is whenever the defender gains, I believe, 5 buffs, they gain a power efficiency charge, making their specials cost 50% less power, as well as making them immune to Nullify. Now the Nullify immunity means nothing here, the issue is the special cost. Because of how much ground the special 1 from this guy covers, you can get cornered very easily, and even though you can just push him to special 3s, well, if you have an invulnerability boost that is, simply getting clipped once on accident due to his weird animations will eat up the whole boost, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So, the game plan here is essentially to just spam heavies constantly, and well, I was too slow on my punish there, and he parried my heavy attack with the Stand Your Ground Mastery, stunned me with it, and then consumed my invulnerability, so now I no longer have a safety net. Also, doing the fight this way means that I am cycling my debuffs constantly, so I do gotta keep an eye on the heal block debuff on the opponent at all times. If it's about to get low, I need to do that double medium to inflict a new heal block while I am in the heal block mode. And then I can go back to punishing the special 1s with heavy attacks. Now the special 3 here is the main damage source with the plasma debuffs. Now all I gotta do is just keep baiting the special 1s, punishing them with heavies for the knockdown so the Make a Stand node protection goes on cooldown. and that's essentially all there is to it. Now, I did also use my striker there to do the same thing. He was so close to special 2 that, well, he got pushed to it. I messed up the decks at the end, and then I just decided, screw it, I'm taking the when I open damage there for a bit. Going for one more heavy to pause the debuffs and let them do the rest of the work. I don't want to be in the fight anymore, so I'll just eat the damage and deal with it using potions later. I want out. So that's what I did. Gotta say, the fight can get out of hand very quickly. A single mistake and yeah, it gets very scary. Now here we have a Man-Thing on the Hazard Shift Shock and Bleed node along with Conflictor, and I am taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. Now this time around I don't have the White Magneto pre-fight. I opted to not use it, simply because it wasn't necessary and it would have caused some issues with the plan, so we went with this instead. So long as I have the Odin shock resistance, the fight is fine. The Conflictor is just something you gotta deal with manually, and it's easy enough with the help of the heal block, shutting down most of the opponent's ability power rate due to the attacker tactic. That means that while yes, he will still eat some of your debuffs, he will not be getting too much power from it, so the risk is not really there. Now, if the attack tactic didn't shut off ability power rate, that would be a different story, and I would not do it this way. So I build up to a special 3, now this time I paused I didn't use the special 3 immediately after triggering Conflictor, so that the incinerates wouldn't get eaten, and now that they are on the opponent, the fight is basically over. So long as I can just keep doing these combos ending on light attacks. That said though, I did make a mistake there and I did get clipped. But overall the fight is still fine. I didn't drop any of the debuffs yet, so all is good. I did have enough armor ups to also shut down most of the damage he would have done, and since he didn't really crit, the damage is also a lot less than it potentially could have been. Fight goes down in less than a minute and a half. All in all, I would consider that a fairly good matchup, and yeah, the White Magneto pre-fight definitely not needed, though it can be nice to have, if for nothing else than the damage increase that it offers. Now, next up we have a fight that should be on paper very simple, but last time it didn't exactly go according to plan either. I'm not exactly sure why either, but well, let's see how this one goes. So we have a Mangog on the Aspect of Evolution mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Luke Cage, and I do have the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights to give me that 135% attack increase right off the bat. I also used an invulnerability boost, just in case, though that's not really necessary since, you know, Luke Cage can just tank the special 3s with the indestructible, or at least a special 3. With that said though, I don't think it would have been necessary to even eat any special 3s in this fight, if done right, but I decided to just go for it at this point. Nuke with the special 2 doesn't crit on the last hit, so he survives and ends up throwing the special 3, but I do have 2 ways to protect myself here, the invulnerability and Luke Cage's indestructible, so I will survive it. Had I played the fight a bit safer and baited some specials earlier, I would have been fine without any boosts or even needing to see the special 3 animation. But even with that, the fight was very simple and a lot better than last time. Not sure why, maybe my crit RNG was absolutely horrible the previous attempt, and this time was a lot better. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 14-3, and we are on track for a top 10 Masters finish if we can just close out the last war in victory.